After hearing of all the projects you guys got going and the things you're involved in, it's almost like I certainly don't want to come across as preaching to the choir. But as I've been working towards becoming governor, I've been concentrating on three things over the past year. And those three things are our vision, which is together we see a world where people unite to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities and in ourselves. So that's our Rotary International vision. Our Rotary strategic plan, it's a 4-point plan: increase our impact, expand our reach, enhance participant engagement, and increase our ability to adapt. Now, of course, there's a lot of sub-bullets in those 4 categories, but we'll talk a little bit about that. But that's our strategic plan. And then, of course, the third thing is our theme for the year: Rotary connects the world. And I like to, to start out with that, as Rotary does connect the world. Rotary connects the world in, 35,000 clubs around the world. Over 133 countries Rotary is in. And we connect by virtue of website and Facebook. I was talking to David about things that you're doing and we're all familiar with when you broadcast a meeting. We connect by virtue of being in the foundation and the money that we gather together and support the foundation, or you may contribute to a project as your own club on an overseas type project, an international global project. But we connect in so many ways, in so many countries. We connect in our own community. You're talking about connecting to Eureka and getting people in Eureka excited about Rotary and joining the Rotary Club. So we connect in so many places. But as we connect, so then we want to keep in mind our vision statement. We're making all these connections, but then, what's the basis for that? Our vision: we see a world where people unite to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities and in ourselves. Now, I submit that if you take that vision, and if you're going to make lasting change, you're going to have to start right here at yourself. You're only going to change the community, and you're only going to change the world if you make a commitment, an individual commitment to make a change. If you make an individual commitment to support your club, and like-minded people work together, right? So now you've got a group, a club with members that say, yeah, we can change. We can change ourselves, and we can change the way we operate as a club, the way we impact our community, the way we're able to impact the larger community, and the way we as a club, because we're individuals supporting the foundation, and we're able to make that lasting change across the globe. Now, there are some, of course, that are making lasting change across the globe because they're maybe a part of I guess, say the people that are helping administer the polio vaccinations. If you're on one of those teams, yeah, as an individual, you're helping make a change across the globe. But so many of us don't have that opportunity to be personally involved like that. But we change because we're supporting the foundation and making an impact in that way. So as we're going through the change and we look at our strategic plan, and it seems as though everything I heard you guys talking about, guys, Maddie, I'm using a generic term, okay? You folks, you Rotarians are talking about, goes back to our strategic plan. Increase our impact. How are we increasing our impact as Rotary in the community? You're talking about making sure you've got the right label, the right signage. You're going through the work to collect bottle caps for the benches, but now the benches are going to be out in the community saying, hey, this is a project of the Rotary Club of West St. Louis County. And of course the caps collected by whatever organization's helping you do that. You're increasing your impact because you wanted to make a change, and you've got a club project to do that. Expand your reach. Expand the reach of Rotary. Expand the reach of Rotary beyond the members of your club. Get it out there. Get it out there with your public image efforts. Get it out there by increasing the access to Rotary by looking into a satellite club in a different community. That's expanding our reach, letting people know what Rotary is all about. Giving an opportunity for members to join, looking for like-minded individuals that want to commit themselves to service. Most of us are in Rotary because we wanted to serve somebody for some reason or another. That's why I joined Rotary. It's like, it's an organization that doesn't just do stuff. We do stuff because we're helping people. You're collecting your personal hygiene items because you're helping people. You know, you're collecting caps for the benches because you're putting them out there for, to help people in a leisure fashion and spread the word as well. So we're expanding our reach, offering what Rotary has to service-minded people that aren't sitting in this room today. There's individuals that want to serve their community, but they just don't know how to do it or who to connect with. Those are the people we want. They're looking for an organization like ours because we'll stand right behind them. You know, you get that new member that comes up with the idea, make sure that you support that person. I had a lady ask me that the other day after church. We had an article in the paper. She says, how do I get in Rotary? And it's a friend of mine. And I said, man, you are the perfect example. How come you're not in Rotary? And she looked at me and said, because nobody asked. You know, there's people that want to get in Rotary. We just have to talk to them. Increase our ability to adapt. Again, you're doing that, I think, by looking at a satellite club. Adapting to the changes, adapting to the way we look at our bylaws and the way we look at our dues, the way we look at our meeting structure. Increase our ability to adapt so that we can, again, be more appetizing and appealing to these folks that are not Rotarians yet, and give them a chance to get on board. You know, whatever that means in your club, you know, you've got the ability to adapt. You've got the ability to look at your bylaws and say, why in the world are we still doing that? Why don't we change that, you know? It's hard, because it's there, and, you know, and we're constantly doing things, but take advantage of that. Look at the 4 points in their strategic plan and carry them over into what your club is doing. What is your club's action plan? What are your club's goals? All of the goals we talked about in Jeff City last March. And I used a comparison. I said, if you don't like the word goals, that's fine. But if you're in business anywhere, or you have been in business, you know darn well what a goal is, because you get them from your boss, and that's what that's all about. As a volunteer, when I was working for Southwestern Bell, and I was on a community relations team, and I was just having the time of my life, and all of a sudden, the paid guy come in and says, hey group, we got to have goals. And I said, no, you're the one getting paid to make the goals. We're the volunteers helping you do stuff. You know, I didn't particularly care to start setting goals, but the more I went through it, and the more I'm learning about why we have goals in Rotary, it's just an action plan. It's just a benchmark that you're going to set. If you don't meet the goal, I haven't seen anybody get fired. The only reason you're setting the goal is so you got something to shoot for. The worst thing in the world is say, okay, what are you going to do this year as a club? And believe me, I can ask that question, and there's some that say, I don't know, what do you mean? I say, oh my gosh, you know, what are your goals? Are you looking to increase your membership? Are you looking to increase a project? Maybe you want to get more people involved in supporting the foundation. Maybe you want a better public image campaign. You know, you're fortunate that you've got David in the group that is helping with websites and getting things out there. All clubs don't have that. I mean, you've got a good deal going here. So those action plans are what you need to be successful. You know, look at your club. Do you have a membership chair that's working on membership in some fashion or form? Do you have a foundation chair that's working on foundation giving? Educate, not just saying, hey, Paul, you know, how come you're not giving any money to the foundation? You know, I'm the foundation chair and I need to get your money. You know, it's like, no, wrong approach. You know, we need to talk about what the foundation does. We need to look at some of the videos that are available and say, wow, I didn't know that. You know, you mean my dollar is going to help support that? That's what I like to say. I'm not one that has been overseas to help administer polio vaccine, and I haven't drilled a well, and I haven't put in a public toilet, but my contributions to the foundation get my name on it. The same way every one of you in here, the dollar you give to foundation, your name is on that project. That's the only way the project's going to get done, is with our support. We need to look at what is available to us in the Learning Center. There's a wealth of information. If you think you know a lot about Rotary, spend a little bit of time at Rotary.org and look at some of the resources that are there. You can have a club program. I know you can, because you got the ability to do it. You can download a video or a presentation by, gee whiz, you can get them from the president of RI. They're out there. You just have to take the time and show it and get people excited about the other things that are going on in Rotary. So this year, to increase our exposure, to increase our ability to learn, I've opened up our district leadership meetings, district leadership council, which is the AGs and the district governor line and committee heads, but open those up. We only meet 6 times a year, but I've sent out invites to the local clubs when we're in the area. I sent it probably just to the president and secretary, at least to get it out there and start talking about it. Last month, or the first month in, well, last month was July, we met in Arnold. So I sent a note out to those clubs in the Arnold area. A couple presidents came, they sat down, they saw what we did. Kind of like going to a city council meeting. There's a lot of stuff we talk about. Very few times do we ever vote on anything. But then it's a learning session. We're always trying to educate our assistant governors and our governor line and those members that are on the different committees. So for that reason, we are opening it up to the local clubs, whoever wants to come. Next month in September 7th, we're meeting up in Troy. I don't know, Joe, if I sent you that note or not. I bet I did, though. If anybody wants to, come up to Troy. I know David's coming, so there's your ride. If you want to ride along with Dave and come to the meeting. Or maybe you can drive and he'll ride with you.
That's better.
There you go. But think about those things. There's so many things to do in Rotary. And I know everybody's busy, and you got a busy club from listening to just the things that you're involved in right now. But don't discount that you have the ability and the resources and the knowledge and the background to help the bigger organization in the district. And we've got a pretty big district, 2,000 members, 51 clubs, so it takes a lot of horses to keep this thing in motion. So think about that. I do want to put a plug in. Oh, I got this sitting here. I was in St. Charles last week. I'll let this flyer here just for your information. They have their Taste of St. Charles coming up, and they love it. They've been doing it for 25 years, and this year, the date, November 20th, happens to be the 95th anniversary of their club and the 25th anniversary of the Taste of St. Charles. So that's a pretty good fundraiser for them. Sounds like fun. The district conference, September 20th and 21st in Washington. If you can spare the time, interested in coming to a portion of it, we're going to play golf on Friday morning. The opening session is really the dinner on Friday. So if you can't get off work for a Friday, you can come out later in the day for dinner and celebrate that. And of course, we'll have speakers at all the meals. On Saturday is lunch and an awards banquet for all the different foundation events, and Linda had some outstanding club awards from last year that we're going to present. And there's some workshops and a service project. And then we finish up on Saturday with the governor's banquet and do some more celebrating and have another speaker. So you can come for both days for a registration, or you can pick one of those meals and sign up for that and come out to Washington and enjoy it that way. And it's only 55 minutes if you take the slow way right out there. So you can be home to go to bed. I really do think that if we think about the change, if we think about the vision statement, commit ourselves to a change, however small or large that might be, and we go back and band together, that we really can create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. And my commitment is to support you, which is why I'm here today. I'm here today to see you and visit you and learn about the things that you've done, which is great, because that's what I came for. That gets me energized to see what you're doing. But my commitment is to help you be a resource, because Rotary is not made up of governors and presidents. Rotary is made up of clubs and club presidents. That's where Rotary is. That's the foundation. So without you and all the hard work you're doing, we don't have Rotary. And so I commit that the governor line and the assistant governors and those folks that are supporting the district as committee chairs are here to help you. So you got my name and number. I laid some information out. Your president knows me, and I know a number of you anyway, so I know you know how to get a hold of me. If there are unanswered questions that we need to deal with and help your club with, please don't hesitate to ask. And I'm having a great time serving the district so far in the first 6 weeks of the year. My wife, like I said, is in the hospital, which allows me to stop here today and then go down. In a couple weeks, she's going to be out of the hospital, and I'm going to get my wings clipped because I'm the primary care provider, and she's going to be in a halfway house, I guess you call it, in St. Louis, so we're close to the hospital. But when she gets out of the hospital, then I'm going to be with her. So I'm taking advantage of visiting clubs this week and next week, and then I'll have to slow down for a while. So again, thanks for all you do for Rotary. I'm looking forward to serving you the rest of the year. Continue on with your great works, because it sounds like you got a lot of stuff going on. Yes, Manny.
You talked a lot about visioning, and several years ago I was on the visioning team, and we went to different clubs and did the visioning process, and I think it really re-energized a lot of clubs to go through that process. And is that going to be done again sometime in the near future?
Well, it's interesting you bring that up, because you came out to Washington when I first got involved on our club board, and I was the champion for what you taught us and helped us learn in Washington. Rick Tanichi at the district level did just complete a visioning session in Crestwood Sunset Hills. So it's still alive and well, and but it's a good thing, because we don't say much about it to the clubs, but we always say, oh, well, I'm here if anybody wants me. It's like, well, we got to tell people you're here. So I'm going to remember that. I do try to make my newsletter and Monday morning notes informative instead of just, talking about different events we've had. So I'll bring that up maybe, because it is a valuable tool. We did another one in our club after our first 5-year period went by, because I was the champion, and after the 5 years I was the club president. So then I says, okay, now let's revisit the visioning. We did it in-house. It was okay, but if you have a facilitator lead it, it's a little bit more effective. So, good question, thanks. Anybody else got a question? Somebody asked me the other day, they said, all right, we're this close on polio. Once we get polio knocked, what are we going to do next? And I said, the people at the highest levels are very, very good at not answering that question. Because the focus, and they tell it, the focus has to remain on polio, because even if Afghanistan and Pakistan got to 0 tomorrow, they have to stay at 0 for 3 years. So we still have a long way to go. So that's why I'm sure there's things being talked about and considered, but there's nothing being announced as to where we're going. So. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, John. Thank you. Anyone else have anything else for the good of the club? Don't forget about this Saturday at Backstop-A-Loozа. So I'm not going to step in this thing, in front of this thing, David. You stop filming. Just step in front of that thing.
Get it.
All right.